So stick drift. It's something that's plagued Joy-Cons for years, and the Switch 2 Joy-Cons are no exception. They're on borrowed time before they developed drift too. So my name is Charlie, and I'm going to be honest, my Switch 2 hasn't actually developed stick drift yet. But my original Switch did, and it was really annoying and it really sucks the pleasure out of gaming. So I've decided to install these GuliKit TMR sticks into my Joy-Cons. There's no soldering, and it can be a slightly fiddly job. So I think we should just open up these controllers, take a little look, and see if we can get these fitted. To complete this mod, you're going to need some pry tools, some tweezers, a tri-wing precision screwdriver, and some JIS precision screwdrivers, although a Phillips will work in a pinch. So firstly, let's just release our Joy-Cons. There we go, got them released. And now we can use our pry tools to release this plastic strip that goes down the side of the Joy-Cons. There we go, got that out. Now we can use a tri-wing screwdriver to release these two screws. And then once that's done, we can remove the ones that are under the cover. Now we've done that, we use the pry tool just to release the back. It can be a bit stiff, so you may just need to persevere a little bit. But now we can release the power supply. So Future Charlie here, I just wanted to say, I did actually try to remove the rumble motor connection as well, but for some reason I just couldn't get enough leverage. So I think as long as you're gentle, you should be fine. But just bear in mind that there's a small possibility that you could damage some of the cables as you're sort of moving everything around. But anyway, that's my little warning over. Let's get back to the build. Now I'm going to start to remove the triggers. So we're just going to use the pry tool here just to lift these up. You just need to be gentle just to make sure you don't break any of the clips. Move that to one side. And now we can start to remove the frame. So I'm just going to undo all these screws. And what you want to do is actually make a note of where they've all come from. They're all slightly different sizes, so I just laid them out in the same order that I removed them from the frame. But that doesn't mean we can now release this other trigger, this small piece of frame here. Oh, we need to just undo this last screw, which is for this ribbon cable, for the trigger buttons. And now we can just take out the frame. This gives us access to all the other ribbon cables we're going to need to take out. So just gently lift the releasing clips. And then using a pair of tweezers, we can just remove these from the connections. Be very gentle because you don't want to damage any of the ribbon cables. If you damage them, you've essentially ruined your Joy-Con. But now we can release the circuit board. This is just held in place by another 5 JIS screws. And now we can gently release the board from the Joy-Con itself. Just lever it up from the edge and it should come out fine. Now we can release the Joy-Cons from the shell with a JIS screwdriver. There we go. And we can now pop in our GuliKit TMR sticks. So let's screw those back in place. Now we can slide the board back in place. Just put it in at an angle and then it should slide down. You might just need to use some tweezers or something just to poke the ribbon cable through the gap. There we go, I think we've got that now. Yep. But anyway, let's move back on and we can reconnect to the motherboard. Put this 5 JIS screws back in. Now you want to refit the ribbon cables and push down the locking tabs. You want to be really careful doing this. You need to make sure they're totally seated properly. If they're not seated properly, your Joy-Con isn't going to work correctly. I'm just going to reiterate it again. Be super careful. I had lots of trouble with this one here. It just didn't want to go in. There's two little plastic clips. You want to just make sure that they line up before you push down the locking tab. So I actually had to reopen the Joy-Con after recording this video and just reseat this ribbon cable because those two tabs weren't locked in place. Just going to lift up the button that's on the ribbon cable here for the trigger so that we can slide the frame back in place. You want to just line it up with the screw holes. And just be careful again not to pinch the ribbon cables. But once you've done that, we can put this small piece of frame back in. Reattach the shoulder button that are on the springs. The springs just line up on two little notches. You may just need to lift up the frame a little bit just to get it to go in. Just check it's working properly with the springs. And then we can reattach this ribbon cable here for the buttons. And then we can move on to the frame. Again, all just the JIS screws, and hopefully you kept track of the order that these came out in so they all go back into the right places. With that done, we can put the release trigger back in. There we go, it just slides in. Then we can refit the shoulder button. That just needs clicking back into place. Yep, that's working fine. Now we can reconnect the power. And we should be able to close the frame back up now and put the back on. Let's just push it up, make sure all the clips have clipped back into place. And then we can grab our screwdrivers and whack all the screws back in. Again, just making sure the screws go back into the right locations. Let's just click the trim back into place. And then we've done our first Joy-Con. Let's move on to the next one. We're going to just follow the same process. So I'm probably just going to whiz through it slightly quicker. But again, we're just going to pry this off here after we've released the first two tri-wing screws. Take off the trim. And then we can remove the other tri-wing and the JIS screw. We can use our pick just to release the back plate again. Release the power. But I'm just going to take out the triggers now. Again, we're just going to use our pick to release the shoulder button here. Oh, having a bit more trouble with this one. There we go. Now again, we can remove the frame with the JIS screws holding it in place. Again, I'm just going to remember where all these came from by laying them out in the order that I took them out. Take out the piece of frame. Take off the other shoulder button. Now we can release this ribbon cable with the button on it for the trigger. Let's just move that out the way. And the frame should just slide out. Nice. So again, I'm just going to release all the ribbon cables, taking care not to break any of the locking tabs. The last thing I want to do is turn my controller into a paperweight. And now we can just move the ribbon cables out. I think it would have helped if I had some tweezers with some little grips on actually, but I didn't have any, so never mind. But anyway, we got that done, and I'm just going to whack the screws out. Now let's lift the frame out, again levering it up. Oh, there's this sticky bit here. I'm just going to release that. There we go. And now I'm going to release the circuit board from the controller by just levering it up from the edge and then pulling it out at a 45-degree angle. But anyway, now I can take out the thumbstick and pop in the new one. Let's put the JIS screws back in. Slide the board back in place. Again, just making sure that the ribbon cable pokes through the hole. So I'm just going to use my tweezers to grab that here and slide it in. There we go. Now once that's in place, we just start buttoning it all back up. So the 5 JIS screws go back in here. And then we can start refitting the ribbon cables and getting these locked into place. I had particular trouble getting this one locked back into place, so it might be a good idea to use your phone or a magnifier just to check that it's actually locked in place. But anyway, now we've done that, let's pop the frame back in. We can reattach this little ribbon cable here for the button, for the shoulder button. Pop in the little bit of frame. Then we can start moving on to the triggers. So let's pop the triggers back in now. Just remembering to seat those little springs in the correct little noggins. You may just need to lift up the frame slightly to get them to fit in. Just check that they're bouncing back. And then you can sort of pop the JIS screw back in just to make sure that it's held in place. And then we can move on to the rest of the frame. With that done, let's reattach the other trigger button. You just want to slide it over that little spring clip and then just make sure it's reattached exactly the same way we did the other side by pushing it down. But anyway, let's put in the release clip, reattach power, and now we can put the back on and we're pretty much done apart from a few screws. So I'll whiz through those now, just going to click this up. Now we can put our screws back in. Now let's clip the trim back in place, finish it off, and again, we're about done. Let's get these on the console and we'll just run the calibration tool. So I'm just going to test all the buttons first, make sure the buttons are working. Everything seems to be working fine, that's good news. Now I'm just going to run the calibration on each of the sticks. And there we have it, we're pretty much all calibrated. So, were these worth fitting even though I hadn't developed stick drift yet? Honestly, I think it was. Stick drift really does take the fun out of gaming, and knowing these controllers should now last for the lifetime of the console is a huge plus. The install itself was a bit fiddly, especially those ribbon cables, and I did actually have to reopen the Joy-Cons at one point just to reseat a connector. So if this is your first time attempting a mod like this, I'd definitely take your time and approach it very carefully. But overall, it's a really nice, clean upgrade. You can't notice any difference from the outside, and it's also one that hopefully means I'll never have to deal with Joy-Con drift again. Anyway, if you did enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. I've got loads more mods, upgrades, and little retro-inspired projects planned, so it would be amazing to have you along for the ride. But anyway, take care, and I'll see you next time.